දසනකාන්තී චූර්ණය සහිත ලීවර් ආයිෂ් දන්තාලේපය දත්වල ඇති ප්‍රශ්න 10ක් වලකයි.
India's External Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday, making this his third visit to the island since 2021. The visit comes in the backdrop where India provided Sri Lanka with the reassurances it required from its creditors to obtain the $2.9 billion loan facility from the IMF. This morning, Dr. Jaishankar called on President Ranil Wickremesinghe. During this discussion, special attention was paid to the debt restructuring program in Sri Lanka, which had received a positive response from the Indian government. Dr. Jaishankar went on to say that India has a good understanding on the situation in Sri Lanka and added that the Indian government will provide all possible support to solve the current economic problems faced by Sri Lanka. In the meantime, the bilateral agreement related to raising the limit of high-impact community development project implemented in Sri Lanka with the support of the Government of India was also signed during the meeting. This meeting guides many community development projects in Sri Lanka with the support of the Government of India. This agreement related to community development projects in Sri Lanka was signed in May 2005, while its project limit, which was at 300 million rupees, will now be doubled to 600 million rupees through the new agreement. The handing over of 300 completed houses meanwhile in Galle, Kandy and Nuwara, 100 houses in each district under the housing project implemented in Sri Lanka with the support of the Indian government, was also done virtually by the President and the Indian External Affairs Minister. They then proceeded to take part in a media briefing, during which he assured India's reliability as a neighbour and a trustworthy partner.
My primary purpose of coming to Colombo at this time is to express India's solidarity with Sri Lanka during these difficult moments. As you all know, last year India extended about $4 billion in terms of credits and rollovers to help Sri Lanka get through an economic crisis. We felt strongly that Sri Lanka's creditors must take proactive steps to facilitate its recovery. India decided not to wait on others, but to do what we believe is right. We extended financing assurances to the IMF to clear the way for Sri Lanka to move forward. Our expectation is that this will not only strengthen Sri Lanka's position, but ensure that all bilateral creditors are dealt with equally. India will encourage greater investments in the Sri Lankan economy, especially in core areas like energy, tourism, and infrastructure. We count on the government of Sri Lanka to provide a more business-friendly environment to create a powerful pull factor. I'm confident that the gravity of the situation is realized by policymakers here. Energy security is today one of Sri Lanka's most serious challenges. A search for solutions must necessarily encompass the larger region. Only then will Sri Lanka get the full benefit of scale. This country has enormous renewable energy potential that can become a sustainable source of revenue. It has the capability as well for Trincomalee to emerge as an energy hub. In its support for Sri Lanka, India is prepared to be a reliable partner on such initiatives. We have today agreed in principle on a renewable energy framework that would take this cooperation forward. Tourism is the lifeblood of the Sri Lankan economy. I note that Indian tourists are expressing their positive sentiments for Sri Lanka in a very practical manner by coming here. But there are many more steps we can take to make this sustainable. Strengthening connectivity and promoting travel is therefore a very high priority for all of us. Definitely, encouraging Indian tourists to make RuPay payments and utilize the UPI would be most helpful in this regard. In a turbulent world, it is essential that India and Sri Lanka steady their trade. The use of rupee settlement for trade is obviously in our mutual interest. The President briefed me on the question of political devolution and his thinking. I shared with him our considered view that the full implementation of the 13th Amendment and early conduct of provincial elections are critical in this regard. I handed over Prime Minister Narendra Modi's invitation to President Ranil Wickremesinghe to visit India at an early date to discuss how our partnership can facilitate Sri Lanka's strong recovery. I would like to underline that India is a reliable neighbor, a trustworthy partner, one who is prepared to go the extra mile when Sri Lanka feels the need. We will stand by Sri Lanka in this hour of need